This is a Ben Frank Connection presentation.
Before we get into this show, I want to say a quick, huge thank you to our YouTube top tier members over on the YouTube side of things. Our world champ A, our triple crown champion, triple crown champion, can't talk, Parma Chisel, and our Grand Slam champions, Freak Maniac 90210 and Raz. Huge thank you for that support on those higher tier levels. If you guys want to support the podcast, you could always do so by hitting those 5-star reviews on the audio side or over on YouTube. Just hit like and subscribe. It costs you nothing, but there is membership tiers that you guys can join. But we really appreciate all that support. Let's get with the show. What is going on, everybody? We are live, episode 126, and everyone's like, wait a second, the ABJ podcast usually has guests on and usually has a lot of things going on when it comes to that side of stuff. We are trying something new here. It is Mania week. A lot of people are busy. A lot of things are going down. I didn't know if I was even going to be around to do an episode this week or what was going on, but I figured I wanted to start something new. The biggest challenge for me is doing content by myself. It is very, very scary to go by yourself and just get in front of a microphone and be you, especially when you've been known to be as an interviewer for a long time. But I kind of want to do these self-reflection episodes here and there throughout the course of the podcast going forward to kind of put myself out there, make myself vulnerable, get another rep of just solo talking. These could be Q&As with people in the live chat, maybe asking questions or maybe wanting more insight, which is kind of weird to me because I do put myself out there, whether it be the lives, streams, the hangout sessions, on podcasts in general, or just being in the Discord. I feel like I make myself very accessible to my audience and to my podcast family. That if this is a platform that people want to do that, they can. If you do have any questions or anything you want to put out there, please, whether it be how I do certain things or how I edit or how just anything like that, I'm down to kind of talk shop with you guys. But also this is a way for me to get a little vulnerable and maybe show some of the sides of things of content creating that maybe I struggle with, or things that I go through that it may interest you, it may not. I think a lot of people put a false perception of themselves out on social media of everything's good, everything's amazing, I'm killing it, I'm better, I'm awesome. And that's just simply not the case all the time. And I think that's just human nature. It's not even as a content creator, it's just life in general. Sometimes you're just not good. And this isn't going to be always me coming on here and saying, woe is me, and being sad and being upset. But I think being real is important. And I think it's important to show your vulnerability sometimes of coming on and speaking to your audience of like, hey, sometimes I have self-doubt. Sometimes I go through this. Sometimes I go through that. So if someone does see me as an inspiration, or if someone does see me as a beacon of hope or a beacon of positivity or whatever it may be, and they struggle and say, well, I can never be that way because I struggle with self-doubt all the time. I'm here to tell you, you're not the only one. I do is all the time. I struggle with it quite frequently. And that's why I want to kind of come on here and talk about some of those things. And this show is going to kind of fall into a thing where who knows where it goes. I don't know how this is going to go. It's just going to be me kind of just spilling my guts out, and I don't know if it's going to go for 10 minutes. I don't know if it's going to go for 20 or 30 or 40, but who knows? It will bank on what the chat says and what the chat gives me question wise or anything like that, or how I'm just feeling today. The last couple months for the podcast have been crazy. Kind of pulling back the curtain a little bit. I ended a 16-year relationship, or we ended a 16-year relationship. Me and my ex-wife. Once again, I've no hard feelings, no bitterness. It's just sometimes people grow apart. People become different people. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago as you were 10 years ago. And I hope they are happy. I hope they're killing it. I hope they're doing everything that they dreams and hope for. I know I am. I know I'm trying to, at least, but I had to move back home. So I am living with my mother, which is not ideal for my age, I guess. No car, nothing in the bank account, kind of started at zero, I do suffer from some conditions, whether it be joint pain and stuff like that, and some mental health things. But we're fighting through it, and I'm just trying to rebuild myself and go through. During that time, I had amazing people like Suplex Vintage Wrestling, rocking their shirt right now, who sponsored the podcast for a while and helped not so much like pay the bills, because that wasn't a thing, but it helped pay to keep the content alive. For a long time there, I struggled with how am I gonna pay for StreamYard? How am I gonna keep things going like Canva so I can make my thumbnails and keep making content? And I thought I was done. And I know a lot of people seeing my social medias like, oh, this guy's quitting all the time. And it's not me looking for sympathy saying I quit or I'm backing away or I'm slowing down. It's just me trying to be upfront and honest. And that's kind of where it comes down to, of just like, I'm not doing the I quit post because that's what I want to do. I'm doing it because I do know there's people who generally look forward to my content, and general people who watch what I do. And that means the world to me. The fact that you're taking time out of your day to support me is amazing. So I always try to be upfront and honest as I possibly can in those moments. But it wasn't that I wanted to slow down or I wanted to quit. It was just mentally, I had to get myself good. I had to get myself right. I had to take some time to myself to heal and figure out what my life path was going to be going forward. And I feel like I've accomplished that. And I'm still not amazing financially. I'm still trying to figure things out, trying to find work, trying to get a car, trying to make myself self-sustainable again. And that'll all come. But Suplex then had to move on. They're doing their thing. So I lost that sponsorship after so many months of them helping me, which I'm insanely thankful for. And they still reach out, and we're going to do cool things Mania weekend. And I'm very thankful. And there's no animosity. There's no hard feelings. Like, what they were paying for a sponsorship was more than I even asked for, or more than I ever dreamed of. So if you can, go support Suplex Vintage Wrestling. They're amazing people. They're helping so many people in this business, which I love. A lot of people I put their name to Suplex, and they said, because of the way I speak about people, or the way I conduct myself in interviews, and the way I give people a platform, they watch that and they say, like, these are good people. We're going to give them love. And they have been, and they're doing awesome things. Once again, we'll talk about Mania in a moment, but it's exciting. It's exciting to see. But then I thought, the sponsorship went away. I'm probably going to have to tone back down again and figure things out. But that entire time I was recording maybe 2-3 times a day, multiple times a week. I was just doing interview after interview after interview, and I was trying to stretch them out and give myself 4 or 5 months of content, one a week for the next couple weeks, for the next couple months, to kind of get myself back on my feet. Once again, didn't fully get back on my feet, but I'm better than what I was. But then the Opinion City podcast people reached out, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't really know who they were, where they were coming from. They kind of seen my content, I seen their content, and they reached out as pretty much as complete strangers as you could possibly be at that point in time. And they were like, hey, we like what you do. We like what you bring to the table. We see that you're struggling. And a lot of content creators in this time that's seen me struggling rejoiced in it. And I know a lot of yous will be like, well, how do you know that, Tony? Because people in this business, I've earned a lot of respect from, for being authentically me and speaking my mind and not being afraid to speak my mind. But for how much I speak my mind, and sometimes it's perceived as negative, also I speak my mind if I'm positive about something too. So there's a balance to the method to my madness. And a lot of times when I am speaking positive, it's more genuine than someone just saying it to say it, if that makes sense. So a lot of people were telling me, hey, you have a lot of podcasters that you've helped a lot, saying bad things about you, and rejoicing in the fact that you're struggling, and saying now's our chance to get ahead. And that sucks, because I put a lot of love and support into those people, and for them to say that bothered me. And then I took that resentment out on other people, and I took that resentment out on other things that I was looking for. And since then, I was able to bend a lot of bridges and build a lot of communication back with a lot of those people that I may have taken that out on, because other people were doing it to me. One of them in the chat right now, Tantalizing Tony. I'm really happy we talked and got things going together. Please go support him if you guys are listening. The Tantalizing Tony Wrestling Show on YouTube. They are literally about 600 subscribers away from hitting 10,000. It's something that him and his family are working super hard to. So quick plug to them, go support them. but yeah, but it was really hard. It was really, really hard to hear others that you would reach out that would reach out to you and ask you interview questions or interview ideas or strategies or how I do something or what microphones do I use or how do I make my stuff do this or how do I do that. And then for them to like turn around and hate on me and tell other content creators that I purposely hold them back or I tell people not to do their shows and stuff like that, like hurt a lot because that's the furthest thing from the truth. Like I would always go out of my way to help other people out and make them better. And sometimes I take my advice and they do it better than I do. And then I fall and they grow, which is what's beautiful. You know what I mean? I do enjoy that. But it was hard, man. These last couple months have been really, really difficult mentally, but I feel reborn. I feel rejuvenated. I feel ready to go. But it took the grind. Like it is okay as a content creator to step away sometimes and figure things out and reassess yourself and find out what's important to you. Because I this content thing was really hard to do. Like I sacrificed a lot of time away from family and friends and loved ones to chase this dream of wrestling commentary and making content and being a podcaster for little to no reward. And for the longest time, it was very slow growth, and it is still very slow growth. But I feel like I'm at a point now where I'm grinding and I'm thriving as a content creator, and I'm proud of it. I was able to go to another country for the first time in my life. Well, not first time, but I went to Dominican Republic, which is definitely a different country. But I was able to go to London, which was huge for me, and that was completely based off support from my community. Raz and Anastasia were two people I met randomly on the internet one day, and we became family. And they essentially paid for me to go to London, which was beautiful, and I got to really go there. And that trip not only opened my eyes as a human being of seeing other cultures and seeing a mash of just every type of culture in one city, but then also experiencing what it's like to be outside your own country and being so far removed from everything back home. I was really able to like reassess myself and really meditate and have a breath of fresh air, but also go over there and see people who really mean a lot to me. I seen my buddy James, I seen Jackie, I seen her beautiful family. Like it was amazing. And London has become a very special place to me, and it's something I would love to keep doing every year. And that's currently what I'm working towards right now, is to try to get to that location every year, because I feel like it inspired me to do better things. And real quick, I know we are live, but it is a huge thank you for Anastasia for the $5 super chat. We hit monetization as a channel. We hit the 1,000 subscribers. We hit the watch hours we needed. People are paying for memberships on the YouTube, which is all things that I tried to do for 6 years. 6 years, 6 channels, 6 different brandings, and nothing ever really stuck because I did things my way, and I knew my way wasn't always the best way, and I knew my way wasn't going to be the easiest way. But I knew at the end of the day, uh, I put myself forward first, and I wanted to talk about things that I'm passionate about and things I'm into. And I know to be successful, you have to kind of follow the trends, and you have to chase the bigger names, and you have to maybe play a character, or you have to niche down and only talk about one thing. And I never wanted to do that. I'm inspired by the Howard Sterns, the Joe Rogans, and when I know some people like those two names are terrible, but hear me out. The Kevin Smiths, just people who are getting paid to wake up every day to be themselves. And that's insanely inspiring to me, that I don't have to come in and be a character or act like something I'm not. Sometimes it's fun to play a little bit of a heel on the wrestling side of things, 100%, but I still stay true to myself when it comes to that. But I'm very thankful, man. Like my Discord community, my community outside of when I'm live on these things, like I don't feel like I'm ever alone. And that's a huge thing I struggled with, because when I lost my car and I lost my job and I couldn't be out with my friends, one of the biggest things, and I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings or attack anybody. That's not what I'm going at all, but I'm being honest when I say this. I'm a very social creature. And even when I was at my lows and I was at anything, or when I was depressed, man, going to my local bar and not even just going to drink, but just to be social and be with my friends and be around people meant a lot to me. And I put a lot of time into those people. And once again, I'm not saying this in negativity, because I know everyone has their own shit going on, but I always prided myself on being someone who was there for everybody, and prided myself on being there for the ones who needed me the most. And when the shoe was on the other foot, maybe it's just outward me thinking, or maybe just my brain attacking me a little bit, but I felt like, I wasn't around for months and months and months, and I never really got a call like, "Yo, where have you been? I haven't seen you in forever. You haven't been at this show. You haven't been at this event. You haven't been here. You haven't been there." And it hurt. That hurt a lot because it made me think, was I forcing myself on people? Um was I always welcomed there? Was I like, and these are all the negative thoughts you go through when you're going through a hard breakup or a divorce, or figuring yourself out as a human. And I didn't get a lot of those. Like, I mean, there is a lot of people. There is people who, I don't want to say a lot because it's just definitely not true. But I had a handful of people who did still reach out and they're like, "Hey man, are you good?" And I wasn't. And I know sometimes when someone's not good and they reach out and they ask if you are, the last thing somebody wants to hear is somebody's bullshit, right? Or somebody being sad or someone being upset. But I didn't have any other emotion to put out there. I couldn't be like, "I'm great. I haven't eaten in a couple days. I mean, I'm losing weight rapidly because I eat once a day because I don't want to keep taking and taking and taking because I'm not giving back." And people just don't want to hear that shit, man. The world sucks. Everyone's got shit going on, and the last thing they want to do is be there for somebody else when they're hurt. I don't take offense to that. I'm not offended. I'm not upset that maybe I didn't have people I cared about as much there as I wanted them to, but also like I didn't have a car to get to them. I didn't have the means to be a friend to other people at that time, and I had to figure out, like, and honestly, like, it was like the universe teaching me to be alone and teaching me to do things by myself and stay in the house and self-reflect and figure things out. And it shaped me. It shaped me who I am now. And there was a time there I was really bitter about it. Being alone and no one like reaching out or seeing where I was fucked with me bad. Fucked with me really bad. And there was a lot of moments where I had a lot of self-doubt and wondered where my relationships were with people, and it was bad. But well, I swear to God, this is gonna get positive. Um, but uh, but like I said, like when you're chasing a dream and you want to be something so fucking bad, I know the easiest thing to do is be like, "Man, my local support's gonna be there. My friends gonna be there. My family's gonna be there. People who I love are gonna love what I do." I'm here to tell you that's not the case. That's not going to be what happens. And it's not because your friends and family don't care about you or love you. It's just I don't know the answer to this, but it's just statistically not the way it goes down. They're going to love from afar and they're going to be proud of your accomplishments, but they're not going to be at every show. They're not going to be listening to every piece of your content. They're not going to be all subscribed. I can make a Facebook page and get 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 friends overnight, but for those 5,000 people who are my friends to come over and hit a subscribe button on a YouTube channel, I've been doing this 6 years. I just hit 1,000. It just doesn't happen. But here's what will happen. If you're passionate about your content, if you're passionate about your art, if you're passionate about who you are as a person, stick with it. Figure it out. Grind, fail, succeed, do all of that, because I'm not a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I feel like energy is a thing. Obviously, it really, like, I'm not sitting here denying energy isn't real. We all know it is, but like your energy, your frequency, whatever terminology you want to use, you will find your people, and your people will find you. I found people from all over the country who resonate with me as a person, who resonate with my content, who resonate with things that I say, who support who I am and support what I do. And they have been there for me more and probably know more about me than some of my best friends or some of my family members. And that's hard for me to swallow because I'm someone who always fought and kind of needed acceptance. I've always kind of needed that, like, "I'm proud of you. Yeah, I think what you're doing is amazing." And it always didn't come from maybe the people I needed it to. Um, but it came from other people, and I had a lot of people who want to support and want to help, and I was really like standoffish, like, I don't know, please don't give me anything. I'll figure it out. And it's been an evolution of that, of just like, let people love you. You know what I mean? It's not easy for a dude to especially that, I guess, kind of grows up in a small little area. And maybe I'm just thinking of everything too zoomed in, but as men, you're kind of taught to like figure it out on your own and suck it up and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and don't ask for fucking help and don't cry and don't show emotion because nobody gives a fuck. They do. People do. Your people will care. And it is okay to be who you are and be what you want to be. But once I'm saying it, like, the thing is you're not going to get it from where you think. It's going to come out externally. It's going to come outwardly. And the second, and the day that you stop thinking the world's out to get you, and that nobody cares, is the day you're going to see how much people actually do, and it's not the people you expected. But yeah, I'm very thankful for that. Like I can go into a program on my computer in Discord and connect with people all over the world, in different countries and different states and different locations, and 50, not 80% of them aren't even from my own backyard. You know what I mean? Like, I still have some people in there to support and do crazy good things, but it's crazy where it's going to come from. And someone you haven't talked to in 10 years or 5 years comes out of nowhere and re-enters your life. You know, it's so strange how the world works and how people just kind of weave themselves through things. And someone that maybe was a pass in the wind at one point in time is now a huge part of your life 10 years later. Like, I'm going through that at this point right now. Like, I found a really good friend, a really good partner. Like, she's amazing. Witchcraft of Lily. Go support her on everything. She's been amazing with helping with the content and inspiring me to be better, and kind of letting me vent and cry and break down and figure things out. And an amazing friend, an amazing partner. Like, she's just been awesome. Like, she believes in my content, believes in me, and it's helped me grow. But yeah, so also on the content thing, I had a lot of people tell me that, I don't really watch your stuff, man, because all you do is talk about wrestling. All you do is talk about wrestling and you interview wrestlers, and I don't care about that. And I'm like, that's weird, because I didn't realize you were a rocket scientist. But 2 weeks ago, you brag and boast about how Joe Rogan interviewed this guy who talked about something that you don't even care about, but because it's a celebrity doing an interview, interviewing somebody else, all of a sudden you give a shit. But yeah, I even if you're not a wrestling fan, I still think you can get something out of my interviews of people's struggle and people's people going through or chasing a dream, whether it's an industry you're not into. But I think those interviews were powerful, and I'm very proud of a lot of them, even though sometimes the guests don't always share the clip or share the episode they're on, and that kind of fucking sucks, and that makes you question yourself as a content creator, whether if people legit take you seriously or not. But it is what it is. But I will say this, out of the 10, 15 people that I can turn to my Discord, that doesn't reflect the numbers of the views on the channel. It doesn't reflect the number of views on the audio side of things. And I know it's not the same 10 people listening to it all those times. So I know there's a lot of you out there who are listening who just stay quiet and don't tell me that you're listening. And whether you're listening for the good reasons, or you're listening to hate, or you're listening to anything, I just want to tell you I appreciate you too. I wish all of you would come out and be like, hey man, I listened to the episode. It was really, really awesome. It would mean a lot. But I understand that not everybody puts themselves out there like that. But I know there's a lot of people who listen, because I've been ranked. I've been ranked in different countries. I've been ranked on in the US for wrestling podcasts, and I only know that the Discord is a consistent 10 to 15 people, and 10 to 15 people don't get you ranked in the top charts of Apple. So there's a lot of you out there. I just don't know. And I'm here to tell you now that I want to know. I want to know who you are. I want to know what makes you keep coming back, because that's how I get better. That feedback, that stuff is really, really important to me. My interviews have been fun, but it is hard sometimes to get guests. And then also it's hard that I've been learning that obviously there's a reason that people listen. And it's not always the guests. People are subscribing because of me. And that's hard to swallow as well, that I'm valued or I'm cared about enough that people aren't just listening for the guests. Sometimes they're listening because of the host. And that means the world to me. And that's something that I don't take very lightly, or I don't take for granted. And this is kind of why I'm forcing myself to do solo podcasts, because people give a shit, and that's fun for me to hear. And it's a confidence boost, and it's great for my mental health, and not even on an ego level, but just to be like, you're doing the right thing, and people are resonating with you being real, But then we also have added pop culture stuff. Like, I brought back some of my old brands that I'm very proud of, that I let go for a very long time, like the Not Cool in High Schools and the Bangin' Beers, and a few other ones will come back. But not as frequently as they were before. They'll be the thing. So the ABJ podcast isn't just going to be me interviewing people anymore. It might be me coming on here and just talking, or maybe finding something that I'm interested in. I just want to come talk about it. Maybe it's me reviewing a music album or a movie or a television show or a video game. Like I'm just going to come on here and just be me, talk about things I'm into, talk about things I'm passionate about, maybe put you guys on to things that I think you should be checking out or that deserve your attention. But also, like, if I'm having a bad day or a great day, or hey, dude, this was a fucking amazing experience, I just want to come on and tell you guys about it. There's going to be these solo episodes that will come out. This is not going to be a one-off. Like I said, and if anyone has any questions or anything a topic that you want to hear my take on, I'm down for that too. These self-reflections are going to be time for like one-on-one time, essentially. You as a listener and me as the content person, or whatever title you want to give me. I'm down to have a conversation with that. When it comes to, if you're putting in the chat, hey, what do you think about WrestleMania? That's for another time, for another channel. This can be for something completely different where we can talk about other things. I see the chat going. I appreciate you guys all so much, but I'm kind of on a little bit of a tangent here, but I will get to you guys, I promise. Yeah, even right now, like, I have this self-doubt in my head that, like, you're talking too much, fucking end this. This is boring as fuck. But we'll see. We'll see how the feedback goes later on. But yeah, what else has been going on in the world of Tony? Still looking for work, still trying to find a car, still trying to better myself in that aspect of having a weekly paycheck. That would be fun. If anyone knows any cool work from home jobs, hit me up. Because it's very hard to travel right now. Everywhere I go, everything I've done in the past couple of months, if I went to a wrestling show, or if I went here or I went there, it's because someone let me use a car, or came and picked me up and took me. I'm very, very this is where I'm learning to accept help from others, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have never left my house. Like, I'm going to WrestleMania this year because people are gracious enough to come get me. And listen, I'm not in a convenient spot for people to just drive out, grab me, and then turn around and go the other direction and drive to the location they were going to go to anyway. But I don't take that for granted either. So I work at McDonald's. If there was a McDonald's within a walking distance, I would have done it. Trust me. I'm not against it at this point in time. But yeah, just trying to. Well, I'm also trying to find a job that I can do my job and this. This is still important to me. This is something that I put a lot of time and effort in, and to end it would suck. So I am trying to find something that I can balance out. I do have a lot of skills. I think I can do a little more than McDonald's, but that's not a knock to people at McDonald's. I just feel like I have a set of skills that can be utilized in other places that can possibly bring me money, and also maybe a little bit of happiness or sense of accomplishment when I go to work. Once again, not knocking that industry or that field. That's just me speaking me. Man, I for the past 10 months too, I haven't really consumed any content, like any movies or video games and stuff. I recently got back into watching TV and movies again, and that's been super exciting. And I'm watching really fun things and talking about it with some friends. And the Not Cool in High School horror is getting really good engagement and views. The pop culture stuff's doing really well. People are liking Tornado Tag. Me and BP, it's just fun to be making content where I'm passionate about and having fun while I do it. But yeah, man, the only thing I tell you is if you have a dream in life, go for it. And if you really, really want it, you're most likely going to go through some shit. You're going to go through self-doubt. You're going to have to make sacrifices, or you may lose things, and things that you didn't think that if you lost them, your world would collapse. I'm here to tell you, I was stripped away from everything. I lost my best friend. I lost my wife. I lost my dog. I haven't seen my dog since. Like, I lost a lot, and it's my own fault. I put too much time and effort into what you're seeing right now, of me sitting in front of a camera and talking to you guys. And that sucks. It sucks, because it's like, do you chase your dream, or do you fall in line and become human, I guess? And I chose my dream, and that it's not possibly the right answer, or it's not the correct answer, but I feel like that's what my heart wants me to do. Will that pay off? I don't know. Will I look back on this in 5 years with nothing to show for it, and nothing in my bank account, and no house, no car, no nothing, and no goal, no future, and be like, man, I waste a lot of time talking on the internet, possibly. But I will say this. I got to host wrestling conventions. I got to be on the other side of the curtain at wrestling shows. I got to have conversations with people I idolized as a child. I got to host Q&A sessions with legends and Hall of Famers. I got to become friends with people in this business that I watched on TV for a very long time. I got to host a fucking music convention. Like I hosted my own music festival. I I I got to go to London. I got to be at Wembley Stadium. I made amazing friends. And at the end of the day, if this is a giant failure, if when it comes to subscriber count and money and income and materialistic things, sure, that's a failure, I guess. But I did some shit that people will never do. And it's not because they can't or they won't or they can't afford it. It's because most people are just they won't chase their dream. They won't be uncomfortable for a little bit to see what that experience takes them. And that's what I'm proud of. That's what I think is my success. And that's what I think makes me stand out because it's one thing to be a content creator, but it's another to be consistent. It's another to stick with it. It's another to watch everything around you fall, but say, I'm staying in the pocket. I don't care if the devil's knocking on my door. Let him the fuck in. I'm ready for that fight. And I'm proud of my accomplishments in the past 6 years. And I feel like they're all coming to fruition now. And I'm gonna keep grinding and I'm proud of myself. And that's not something I say out loud very often. And I'm thankful for everyone around me. I guess this is close to the end here. I don't really know what else to say. I know when I come into this in the future, I will have a base idea or a topic or a discussion that I will bring to the table. But I kind of wanted to give you like the state of the podcast and what has been going on for the last 10 months, maybe behind the scenes. There will still be interviews, I promise. Maybe the interviews won't be as much. I do have a pretty big list of people who want to be on the podcast that I'm very excited to have conversations with. I do have a list of people who want to review things with me. So that's all going to be stuff there too. So just stick with me. If I do get a job, which, that is the goal. That's what we have to do. I don't think we're going to blow up overnight and I'm going to be a paid content guy and this will be my life right away. I'm not saying it's never going to happen. I'm just saying it's not in the cards within the next couple weeks. But I will, I might have to dial back again. And I'm not, when I say dial back, that doesn't mean I'm quitting. Trust me, there's no chance. The only time I'm quitting is if I'm not breathing. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, but, we might do the video game streams more than we do the podcast content, or maybe if I can't get a guest, you'll see this, but there's going to be stuff coming. We're going to vlog our WrestleMania weekend that's coming up this week. I'm doing my biggest goal, man, was I wanted to be in this wrestling business. And then I thought to myself, man, I worked for some places and I wasn't really proud of the people they were bringing in or the people they were associating themselves with. And then you're in a business that, all right, fuck it. We'll talk about this. Buckle up. This is going to get me hate, but fuck it. Honesty's the best, right? I'm not going to say names, but it is what it is. So we're in a world right now where our childhoods are being stripped away from us because we found out the people who were behind the content and behind the things that we love turned out to be horrible people and did horrible things to people. And I learned the hard way, man. I got into the wrestling industry knowing that some of those things were a thing, but I thought it was just like the higher ups, like people say, oh, when you get famous, you got to sell your soul to the devil. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be famous to get to that point, to sell your soul. And when they say sell your soul, it's not so much selling your soul, but it's selling your morals. So at the end of the day, we all sit here and we go, man, if I seen X, Y, and Z happening, I would stand up and I would say something. And everyone is big and talks a big fucking game when it comes to that until your dreams are on the line, until you're in an industry where if you say something or you're in a position where maybe you're getting a little more pleasure or a little more experience or a little more love than everyone else around you, that's where you sell your soul. That's where you give up your morals to say, well, I know this person's kind of not awesome. And they're friends with somebody who's done some pretty gross things, but I'm getting paid. they're making me a superstar. I'll deal with it. And I'm here to tell you that that's going to eventually end, because eventually you will not be the shiny toy, and then they'll throw you away, and then you're going to get the confidence to come and out people, and you're going to be not credible because you've known it's been going on the entire time, and you facilitated bad behavior and let that be a thing. And that's kind of what I've learned with the wrestling industry. That will I stay quiet? And I have, to the point I stayed quiet, because here's the thing, that not every story is your story, if that makes sense. There's things that maybe you weren't the victim of, that maybe that person does or doesn't want that to be out there, or maybe they're willing to go through it because they're chasing their dream and they think what they're doing is paying their dues. But for you to stand up and say something will hurt them and what they're trying to accomplish, because maybe they don't want to be the one to say something about it. But what I've learned is sometimes speaking up is going to get you pushed away. Um, I spoke up, and I made a lot of friends in this business, and a lot of people I really fucking love and care about, and I don't get to make art with them anymore, and that bothers me. And then I see shows come up, and I'm like, man, it'd have been really cool to be a part of that, to tell that story, to narrate that in commentary, and you're not welcome there because people know that, if that makes sense. And even though I've never said names or I've never put anybody on public blast, they know that I know. And that's it's tough. It's tough because you want to protect people, but at the end of the day, people have to want to protect themselves. But all I can do is not add fuel to the fire. If I know morally something's there that shouldn't be there, um, whether it's happening to me or not. I've never personally been a victim of something going down, but I've seen it happen to other people. And I kind of say, like, hey, is that cool? And everyone's like, that's just the way it is. And then I turn around and go, no, it ain't for me. And I leave. And I leave. And I walk away from something I really love and I really care about. And it possibly ruins relationships, and it possibly ruins time with friends. And it's hard. It's really fucking hard. But I stayed true to myself. And doing that put a huge hindrance on me of one of my dreams. Like, it's hard for me to be a commentator right now. It is. I'm not a lot of places are giving me a shot. Not a lot of places are letting me into those spaces because whether I demand money to get paid for my work holds me back, or whether I go to a show and they say, hey, this week we're bringing this guy in, and he's a former canceled guy who used to be on TV, or girl, mostly guys. I say, hey, with all due respect, I'm not going to protest. I'm not going to go and say you're terrible for doing it. I'm just not going to participate in this week's show. And I don't hate anyone for chasing their dreams or doing their business. It's just I choose it to do it differently. I know my path to my climb to the top of the mountain is not going to be the easiest. I'm not taking the ski lift. I'm not going fast. I'm going at my pace, and I'll get the job done, and I'll get there eventually. And then when I get to that top level, if I can impact change, I will. But at this point, I just don't have the power to do so yet. But there's things that I'm trying in low key on the bottom to help uplift others who I think deserve more than what they're getting, or maybe to get them more so they can get away from certain situations. I'm always scheming and trying to find ways to make my friends succeed, whether I'm not around you or not. Trust me, I'm thinking about you, and I speak very highly of you, even if you know you're not in the room with me. And I think that's a huge reflection too, is be around people who would speak the same about you in front of you as they would if the door was closed. If you can pull people, trust me, I put people over a lot, whether you're hearing it or not. And whether you want to believe it or not, I believe there's some times where things are said on this podcast about who should be getting put in certain situations. And I do believe that it's still listened to on my local scene. And because it's not a coincidence that I say it and then 3 weeks later it's booked. I'm just being honest. It is what it is. So even the people that you're no longer working for because they didn't want to give you an opportunity, or they're afraid that you're going to out some stuff, or whatever it may be, they're still listening, and they're still taking ideas, and they're booking people, which is great because my friends are still getting opportunities, which is what my goal was from the start anyway. But it's very hard to be a part of a dream and the same dream that cost you everything, but then you get there and you're like, cool, I lost everything to be here. And this is gross and I don't want to be a part of it. See you later. That's hard. That's not an easy decision to make. Most people go through all this negativity and lose everything around them, then walk into what their dream is, and then they're willing to eat a shit sandwich because it's like, I have no option right now. I have to go through this so I can get to the other side. And that sucks. It sucks. And it's not just me who experiences this. It's anyone who chases a dream and also wants to stand on their morals. That was a huge mental health thing for me for a long time too, was struggling with that. And the fact that, you go from making really decent money and getting really good opportunities on platforms and working with some pretty big names and letting your voice be heard to maybe stepping away because maybe that brand that you put over so hard doesn't give a shit about your content, or they don't want to put over your content. And that's important to me too. If I'm not going to be paid, at least see that logo up in the corner, care about that. Say, hey, we're proud that the ABJ podcast host is here. I don't think that's a lot to ask for, but when you set standards for yourself, people will also get out of your way. And sometimes that hurts as well. I think that's pretty much all I got when it comes to like catching everybody up on what's been going down for the past couple months. And maybe a little insight of why I'm a psychopath and why I'm emotional and why I'm going through what I go through. But overall, there is a lot of negativity, what I said here in this episode, but at the end of the day, I'm finding a way to make it all positive. And I think the overall message is I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for this hurt. I'm grateful for the being alone. I'm grateful for being pushed aside or being let go or being removed from situations, because all of that put me through so many mental tests to make me better. And maybe those mental tests aren't designed for me to come back to those situations. Maybe it's to learn from them and move on and leave them in the rearview mirror. I don't have negative connotation to anyone or anything that I went through in the past 10 months. I think it was all part of a plan. I think it was all part of an experience that we call life. And I'm grateful for it because it made me better and it made me stronger. If you're going through something, it will pass. Stay tough, stay strong, stay true to yourself. Stick to your guns. If you in your fucking gut and every day you wake up or you look at that and you go, man, that's what I fucking want, go get it. Don't go get it. Don't make excuses. Because the second you look at that and go, man, that's what I fucking want, but you've already fucking lost. Get rid of that but. Get rid of that. I want that so much, but here's what. Just fucking do it. Fucking do it. Chase your dreams. Go for what you want. Start small. Don't think I'm going to be on WWE or I'm going to be on TV one day or I'm going to fucking sell 1 million records. Sell your first record. And then when you sell that first one or you get that first fucking viewer, cherish him. Cherish your viewer. Make them fucking feel like they're part of you. Give them everything you can so they fucking connect with you and they want to learn more about you, and just grind and fucking grind. Your goals will come, but they won't come fucking easy. And if they come easy, that might be a bad sign, you know? I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for letting me talk for 45 minutes here. If anyone has anything in the chat question wise, or maybe future ideas or topics you want me to talk about, please, I'll give you a couple minutes to put them in there. I've been seeing all your support and all the kind words you've been saying in the channel about, I appreciate all of you. I'm not going to go through and read them all. I will read something though. I do make a bit, not a bit, but a promise to my people who subscribe on the YouTube side to read your name out and to give you your recognition for being supporters of the channel. So I'm going to do that right now. I know at the beginning we do the top 3 tiers. They pay a lot of money for very, very little, which is very cool to me because I never want to paywall my content. I never want to say I love you monetarily this much. Someone who comes in for free and hits a thumbs up button is just as invaluable to me as someone who's dropping $1 or $5 membership. I care about you all. And some of those people who are supporting, we kind of do things in a wrestling tier. I'm not going to make any mistakes about it. I'm a pro wrestling fan, but we set things up by wrestling terms. So tag team champions, Lily Rodriguez from Witchcraft by Lily, James K from the Addictively Speaking podcast, one of those amazing people I got to go over to London and see. Then we have our mid-card champions, James M, CJ, DM221, Andrea, Adam, Inspector Todd, BR, Steven Chambers. We love you, brother. Devin the Tribal Chief. Go subscribe to him on YouTube. He's a great content creator. My little brother Austin, Captain Butters 32 over on Twitch. He's a great kid. He works really hard. Danny Frederick, Ryan Vox, Kai, Adam the Guy, and Pete DeLong. And I think that's pretty much all we have those. And then we have our world champs, triple crowns, and our grand slams. Thank you everyone who's getting the subscriptions and the donations. They all help a lot. I am taking all of my donations right now and kind of just sticking them and not looking at them. I'm going to be honest. I hopefully those donations and those super chats will build up. And then if if August rolls around and I have enough money that I can go to, London with your guys' support on the channel and not rely on those beautiful Australians to pay for everything again. That's what I want to do. So I'm kind of saving up right now. I'm trying to make money in real life by selling my personal items to help pay for things like my cell phone bill and finding a car. And all my content is going back to content or going back to be around people I care about. And that's kind of my goal. There's items I want to make my content better. There's vlog cameras I'd love to get. That'll all come. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. I've been told that I should put a PO box up because people have been sending t-shirts and stuff. I will work on that soon. If you really want to send something, there is ways that I can get you an address. As of right now, I'm not popular enough, but I don't feel too terrible giving away my real address to certain people. What's wrestling, everything pro wrestling. Appreciate you for stopping in. Also, I was told to possibly put a wish list on Amazon in my link tree. So maybe we'll do that. That's me learning to accept gifts again, like I said. So if that's something you want to do, I will put up maybe some stuff that if you would like to support or go grab or something, you can. Tips and donations are links below. Merchandise is available. You can also support me this week. I will be at the Labor of Love in Philadelphia Wednesday and Thursday for those shows. I'm not really booked to do anything. I'm kind of going to support our buddies over from the Ben Frank Connection and the Opinion City podcast. I'm also going to be at Suplex Vintage Wrestling. It's a free show in Philadelphia. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. So stop by on Saturday. And then I'll be at a closed set on Sunday, which will be do closed set wrestling. I don't know if it's public or not. It's one of those that you have to know somebody to get in. I'll be there, so I can't really promote that one. I do apologize. T-shirts, merchandise. If you want to get WrestleMania inspired t-shirts, I do have those available. They will be available till the 13th. And on the 13th, we're swapping it out for new ones. So every month on the 13th, we're going to put 2 new logos up, 2 ones that will rotate. And then if we make a spoof logo for a wrestling pay-per-view, that'll be there all automatically as well. But every 13th of the month, there'll be 2 new logos that pop up that will be exclusive and only for that time. It can come back at a future date, but if you really like it, I would say grab it because it might not come back for a while. If you want to vote on the new logos, there's 5 logos currently right now in our Discord. If you want to join the Discord, links are below as well. Previous episodes out, you can go check out Evil Dead Rise with myself and Charles Moran and Not Cool in High School Horror. My interview with Dante Elizabeth James, fantastic content creator, fantastic human, living the dream. Just what a beautiful human. History of Dusty Rhodes is out right now, so you can hear why it's important for Cody to finish his story this weekend. And then this Thursday, pre-recorded episode with Mark Soares of the Kryptonaut podcast. Probably my favorite podcast that's out there. I listen to them all the time. They talk Kryptonauts. They talk spooky alien stories with a lot of bit of humor and some realism to it. I love the way they do it. Please go support them. Cannot wait for that. For the 20th? Oh, I will be a commentator on the 20th. So we talked about people not giving me opportunities. They're not one of them. New Era Pro Wrestling on 420 in North Pocono High School. They have recruited your boy Anthony Blackwell Jr. to be a senior commentator for their show. If you're not in the area and you still want to support them, you can head over to their websites. I don't know if I put the links below, to be honest with you. I know I've been doing it for the Hangouts and stuff. I got to fix that. But here's what I want to do. If there's shows that that you can't make it to, but you still want to support that company because they're supporting me, you can go buy a ticket. They're like $10-15 online. Buy it. Tell me the name on the ticket. I can get in contact with the promotion and be like, hey, these tickets under these names are not coming, but they're bought. They're free tickets. Either they're take them as donations but know that those 3 seats can still be filled. That's a donation from my listeners to you guys to support independent wrestling. Or we could turn around and say a dad comes in with 3 kids, and 3 kids are $10 a piece, and then he has to pay $10 for himself, but he wants his kids to enjoy some pro wrestling. We could turn around and say, hey, the ABJ podcast has donated 3 tickets to this show. We would love to give you these 3 free tickets, and you can then take your money that you would have bought on tickets to go buy a t-shirt, and then that money can go back into an independent wrestler because they're not paying for it to come in because it's been donated by us as the podcast. I think that'd be a great way to give back to the local scene and use my platform to help that, and then that money can go back into another wrestler who can sell a t-shirt, who can get more money in their pocket so they can keep chasing their dreams as well. So if that's something you're interested in, please reach out to me. We'll make that work. I will be, like I said, we're doing it for companies like High Tension. We're doing it for companies like New Era Pro Wrestling, PPW, all those great places. So if that's something you're interested in, that you want to reach out and support and give somebody a free ticket or give a kid a free ticket because it's under our name, I would love that. That would really make my day more than you guys giving the money personally to me. Are you going to smoke on commentary to celebrate 420? It's a great question, C. Henry. I will say this. When it comes to my medical card, it's coming up very soon. I don't have money to buy medicine, so I'm very low when it comes to that. Plus, I don't know if you heard, it's at North Pocono High School. I will not be bringing any of that into a school zone. So all 420 celebrations will be later on when we're away from school grounds. All righty. But I'm going to be honest too. When it comes to the 420 aspect, it's not something I do to party. It's not something I do to be like, cool, bro. That's what I do. I do it because I don't take pain pills anymore. I don't do it because I don't drink as much to coincide my body pain. Medical marijuana has been a beautiful thing for me. And I think that's what you're going to be surprised to hear when I start bringing in Blazing Buds. It's not going to showcase marijuana for its negativities. There's going to be some really good stories that come out of Blazing Buds that aren't really glorifying the party aspect of the drug. It's going to glorify why this should be legal across the world or why it's so important for people. I'm really excited for what that's going to turn out to be, as well as Banging Beers bringing that back to some extent. But that's all I got. Thank you guys so much. I was able to stretch this out a little longer than I thought I was going to. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the support. Thank you for everyone tuning in. If you are watching this now on YouTube, do me a favor. Head over to your favorite podcast platform, whether it be Amazon, Google. There's a whole bunch of them. No, it was a joke. I appreciate it, but no offense taken, C. Henry. I love you. But yeah, go head over to the audio side of the platform, whether it be Spotify or those, and just give an episode a play. I have 85 out of 100 plays I need to be able to set up subscriptions like I do on YouTube on Spotify. So if you're someone who doesn't watch this on YouTube, but you are someone who listens to the Spotify or listens to the audio side of things, and you're like, man, I really love to get a shout out like you do on YouTube for being a subscription member. I do have a Patreon. Patreon's just general support. I don't have anything really set up that if you subscribe to that, I do anything special. It's just kind of there. If you want to support, you can. Maybe I'll do the same thing. If you support a certain tier amount, you get shouted out as well. But we're able to activate that on the audio only side of things after we get 100 plays out of 85. It's not plays, but like members, I guess, people who are consistently listening. I don't know how they factor it in because we're definitely getting more plays than that, but we'll figure it out. But check that out. And thank you guys so much. This has been Self-Reflection ABJ number 1. We'll be doing more of these. I appreciate you all so much. 5 questions with ABJ. Brew Valen out right now. Al De Niro out right now. Dropping on Wednesday tonight at midnight. No, tomorrow at midnight, Tuesday at midnight into Wednesday, Danny Moe, and then this Friday, Dio Bando. I think the 5 questions have been really, really cool. Just kind of doing these really short 5 to 8 minute videos of just talking to a talent and not having that long form content. I plan on filming a shit ton of those while I'm in Philly and with wrestlers, with people, with anybody. So be on the lookout for those. If you want to be a member, if you want to be on 5 questions with ABJ, just see me in public and be like, can I record one with you? Everyone gets the same 5 questions, so do your research and find out what I'm going to say before I come. If not, that's cool too. I like to be spontaneous. But thank you guys all so much. We will not be live anymore this week. I will not be live for AEW. I will not be live for Friday at Smack. Maybe Friday. Maybe. We'll see. To be determined, because I am home Friday, but I do have to wake up early Saturday. So maybe I lied that we won't be live at all this week, but Friday might be the only day because we will be in Philly. If you would like to support me and buy me a sandwich while I'm in Philly, whether you want to donate some money that I can give to these people who are driving me around the place, I can throw a couple dollars in their gas tank, or buy them a beer while we're at the brewery for driving me all over the place. PayPal and Venmo and Cash App are all below. If you wanna buy me a beer while I'm in Philly, all that would be helpful. If you do it through YouTube or Super Chats or anything, I can't pull that out, and I won't pull that out. But if you do it towards Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, I will promise I will use that to feed myself and Lily and buy someone a beer while I'm there if there's enough afterwards. But thank you all so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this form of content. I hope I didn't pander too much or be too negative or a fucking crybaby. But we'll see you guys next time. Make sure you check out the episode this Thursday with the Kryptonaut Podcast Mark Stores. It's going to be really, really fun. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. We're going to talk all spooky stuff, which is exciting. So we'll see you guys next time. We're out of here. Here's some music by the Converse Kid. Until the next one.
Thanks for watching this presentation. Like, share, and subscribe for more.